Damn it! I swatted at the thing that clung to my arm. My fishing partner, Alan, turned to me concerned. What? I looked up from the flying terror and did a once-over of the many flies swarming around our boat. Oh, nothing. Just got bit. I turned the boat back on, sputtering it into action, and decided to call it a day. It had passed afternoon, and I thought for sure that we'd be clear of the greenheads. Now we were at the mercy of our crappy, faulty boat. We hadn't caught anything, considering the heat had approached 100 on the indicator. We had, however, caught the attention of the greenhead flies, who now swarmed our boat. I'd procrastinated leaving, even when the first clouds of red approached the horizon. I truly wish we'd taken off sooner. A clink from the engine and a loud sputter sent me reeling, the engine stalling, and our boat grew still. The sun hung low in the sky, and I sighed, knowing the evening was growing into night. We needed to fix the boat, and we needed to do it fast. The swamps aren't a place you want to be stranded in at night, considering we were already miles up and drifting further. None of our phones worked, and we barely had any food packed. There was a faint rumble of thunder in the distance. Damn it! I looked back at Alan, who looked up from his magazine in confusion. Why are you stopping? Well, smartass, if you didn't notice, we're now stranded in the groves, so why don't you put down your magazine, pick up your tools, and help me? With a heavy sigh, Alan stood up. Fine, but you better have... Alan was cut short by a splash, and he suddenly tensed. His expression grew vacant, and I couldn't read his face. He was transfixed on something in the water. The sun had dipped behind the trees, leaving a faint glow on the water. Try as I might, I couldn't see anything. Alan, what the hell are you doing? My question, however, fell on deaf ears as he continued to gaze out at the water. I finally shoved him, and he nearly went overboard. What the hell, Brian? He shouted at me. What are you doing? You're creeping me out, man. What did you see on the water? He shot me a look of confusion. Another splash alerted me back to the water, but I still saw nothing. The faint shapes of trees grew harder to see. I became frustrated at Alan, quickly losing my patience. If he was going to play dumb, I wasn't in the mood. Listen, man, I don't know what you're playing at, but we need to get out of here. It's growing darker by the minute, and we don't have a damn signal in these godforsaken swamps. Are you going to dig around, or can you help me? Another splash closer to the boat. Something clanked underneath us, and another tiny splash echoed across the water. I suddenly noticed the odd stillness of the place. The crickets had stopped chirping, and the place seemed to be absent of all life. I should have taken that as a warning, but it slipped my mind at the time. I just fiddled with the engine. The thunder rumbled, lighting up the now black, starless sky. We need to get moving. Now. I think at this point, Alan finally realized how dangerous our situation really was. Another splash on the still water, and I saw the outline of something. The rain had barely began to fall, and I just assumed at the time that it was a big fish. Another clap of thunder, and the rain began to fall harder. My hair became slick with the rain, and I could see Alan pick up the flare gun out of the corner of my eye. Wait, Alan! The red ball exploded before I could stop him. In his frantic efforts to set it off, he had forgotten the fishing pole that sat upright. It struck the pole and exploded in a fiery blaze. Alan was sent sprawling, part of his torso glowing a bright orange. I fell backwards, nearly falling over the edge as I watched Alan scream in pain. He frantically tried putting the flames out, the rain doing no help to aid him. He dove for the water, making a splash and suddenly falling silent. I was too stunned to do anything. The rain clung to my hair and I just stared, expecting him to come back up. He never did, though. Alan, where are you? Another splash from the water, and my fishing buddy was gone. In my panic, I didn't notice the shape in the water. As it grew closer, I braced myself. The boat was rocked by the turbulent waters and connected with something large. I hit the back of the boat and fell headfirst overboard into the dark water. It caressed me, slamming me down into the rocks. In the stirring waters, though, I sensed a presence far more turbulent than the water that engulfed me. It grew closer, and I could feel something grab onto my leg. I kicked and tried to stay afloat, but the thing that grabbed me pulled me downward. Another flash of lightning. The water suddenly lit up, and the face that I saw below me was not one of a hungry fish. It was one of a predator. An eyeless, slack-jawed fish-like creature looked up at me. I could tell it was hungry for me. An arm like seaweed gripped me. I kicked and screamed and saw my fishing boat grow further in the distance. I eased my left leg up and kicked the thing in the face. It recoiled and hissed, and I saw my chance to get away. I swam. I swam against the current. I swam for my life. My adrenaline kicked in, and I battled the waves to the boat. I gripped the cleats with all my might and pulled myself up the boat, scrambling as the hand suddenly reached for me, my leg growing cold as it fumbled for me. I gave a massive heave and finally pulled myself into the boat, hitting the deck hard. I jammed the key right into the boat and practically tore the lever clean off. The engine roared to life, and I practically broke my throttle getting out of there. Another clap of lightning illuminated the water, and the thing was chasing me. It slammed itself into the boat, sending me into a panic. I regained my composure and continued fleeing from the creature that pursued me. The malicious thing leaped and lunged, each time taking with it a new chunk of steel from the boat. The landmarks became familiar, and at last the dock grew closer. I took no time docking my boat, and I slammed into the rocks. I flew from the boat and onto the rough terrain below. I scrambled away in a blind panic, eventually ending up at my car. I left Alan and that thing there. I know I'm a coward. I sped off into the night. I didn't look back. I haven't gone back there, not in the evening. Not ever. That thing can be someone else's problem. My only regret is leaving Alan at the bottom of the murky deep.